Hey guys, Corey here today, and I want to talk to you about beginning a layout with just a basic design. This is my basic design. I know you've seen it before. I've used it so many times. And I tweak it and I change it here and there, but for the most part, I would say 75% of my layouts start with this one basic design. So that's what I'm going to do with you today is I'm going to walk you through how I've taken this one basic design and changed it and made it unique for this layout. For this layout, I'm using Jillibean Soup's Farmhouse Stew collection. It's one of the new collections that just came out. And I think I've got one of each of the papers, and I'm just cutting random strips. I'm not measuring here. I'm just cutting strips of paper. This is going to provide me with the vertical part of my design. And I love all of these papers. This is all the back sides of all the papers, but the colors are just perfect and they work for my photos really well. Now I'm going to take these, and each strip I'm going to cut into two banner pieces. Small strips I find is a great way to get a lot of different pattern paper and a lot of different colors onto one layout without it being overwhelming. Once I've got all my strips cut out, I'm going to go ahead and start putting them behind the photos in kind of the order that I would want them to go in. Now you'll see that I've changed the basic design a little bit by putting the orientation in the center of the page instead of off to the left. Every now and then I like to follow the rule of thirds and everything, but you know what? I also like it smack dab in the middle of the page. I think it looks pretty cool. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Some of these little strips I'm going to get smaller because I kind of like the tapered look where it goes from narrower strip to wider to back to the narrower strip. I feel like that sometimes works really good. I didn't know I was going to do that when I started, but it definitely works for this layout. Then I'm going to go ahead and adhere everything down. I do use hot glue. I like how it glues really fast. I don't like things to move around. And I really don't like things to fall off my pages. I've noticed some of the first pages that I did, my adhesive wasn't so strong, and over the years it has gotten even weaker, and so now I've got little pieces of paper and letters just kind of swimming along in the bottom of the page protectors. I did use my sewing machine to add some stitching to the different strips. It's really just to add a little bit of texture, and you know, it's kind of like an added embellishment. I don't usually start with my title, but I did on this page because with the different strips, it already had so much color on there, and that looks like a lot like embellishment to me. So I wanted to make sure I got my title on before I really started putting anything else on this page. I'm just going through the different Jillibean Soup alphas and trying to decide which one's going to look the best on that section of the page. And I chose the yellow chevron ones. They're so cute. So normally what I do is I go ahead and I put my title, the alphabets on this little ruler, and then I can easily move it around and kind of test it in different places. And so I'm building my title up from the bottom. It's actually called The Holidays Together, but I had to start with it together so I knew exactly where everything was going to be placed. So where my title is placed is actually just another small change from my basic design. So normally it's off to the right of the photos, and this time I put it onto the left. And honestly, that's because I thought it just looked the best there, and also because my photos are placed kind of off kilter a little bit from each other. The title just balanced everything out, being on the left more. These are just different little things that when you have a basic design that you can, as you're working through your layout, it's really easy to make these small little changes to make the whole layout just flow better. And now I'm going to go ahead and start embellishing my page. I love all the stickers that come with the Jillibean Soup collection. The coordinating label stickers are adorable and their phrases are great, and I love the tabs, so I'm going to go ahead and use all of those up that I can. Even though they're stickers, I do like to go ahead and add a little extra adhesive just so that I can make sure that they stay where they're supposed to stay. I'll be honest with you, I tried to use these different cardstock die cut pieces, the flowers. I thought that they would have looked really cute with my photos, but I really struggled with them, and I think part of that is because I used all of these different pattern papers in the background. I just struggle with then being able to use more color on top of those, which the flowers would be. Other people do it beautifully. I just struggle with it. So I'm adding just a little bit of color from some spray ink, and all I do is usually use a paintbrush to dip in and then splatter it around. And then, of course, my date. This was actually last Thanksgiving, but we call it Friendsgiving because she's my best friend and we were there together. And we've done this holiday together for the last few years and it's just been super duper fun. So I did figure out a way to use a couple of these pea pod parts, which are these little flowers, and just got them right over to the side and pulled them up a little bit so that they weren't laying flat on the layout. I think they came out really great. Another piece, or another one of my favorite things that Jillibean Soup has is the puffy stickers. Oh my goodness, I love puffy stickers. I think they're amazing. So I'm just going to go ahead and use all of these little butterfly puffy stickers, organizing them on the page before I take them off the backing, and oh my gosh, I just love them. I need hundreds more of these, I'm serious. With the addition of the puffy stickers, I felt like the layout was finished being embellished, and so I'm just adding my journaling with a brown pen. I didn't want to use black because it definitely would have stood out too much and it needed to just kind of work with the rest of the layout. I did keep the journaling though in the spot from the basic design, so it all would flow. So here is the sketch that I used to start with my layout, and then here are some details from the layout so you can see it a little bit more close up. So I really encourage you to start looking at your layouts and seeing if you're seeing a trend in how you're scrapbooking, and if you're noticing something, go ahead and sketch it out and go from there. Use that as a starting point, especially when you're stuck, to create something different and beautiful. Thanks for stopping by.